Greetings, everyone. How are you today? I am going to begin my teachings on the body system, and I am going to be sharing with you just a skeleton version of what the body system consists of. There are three major parts to the body system, and we're going to discuss each part in detail. But in the next few videos, I'm going to give you just a slight overview of what the body system is about. Now, you might see me looking down because I do have some notes that I'm looking at. I want to make sure that I cover everything in this process. I will also like to share with you just a little bit about myself. My name is Dorothy Parker. No, I'm not the writer, Dorothy Parker, but I am a writer. I am a research specialist. I am also a computer consultant and technician. Mostly, I am a student, a lifetime student. I attended Strayer University for stenography back in the day. I am also a past member of the church. I was a elder in the church for many, many years, well over 30 years. I've traveled extensively, nationally, internationally, locally. I have a book out called The Divine Acceptance. I wrote that book not in order to sell it or to make any money or to even ask anybody to buy it. To be honest with you, I wrote that book because that book represented a gateway to me. It represented a gateway out of a spirit of fear that I carried for many years in my heart. I've always been a reader, an avid reader, since my childhood. Some of my favorite books were the Nancy Drew mysteries, Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. I've read Little Women. I've read Tom Sawyer. I've read just about every book that was out in the 70s, basically. I grew up across the nation. I am a member of a very large family, a total of 14 children. I am one of many children that are presently and still in ministry, leaders in the church. I am not a church goer. However, I was for many, many years. But getting back to my experience, I attend and have attended American Military University. I am a disabled veteran of the United States Army. When I transitioned out of the military, I was a specialist E4 in the United States Army. I now have a BA in sociology from American Military University, and I am presently working on my capstone course, which is my last class, where I write my thesis for my master's degree in psychology from the same university, American Military University. And I am anticipating my doctor's degree in any of the social science areas because I am very interested in the social sciences. I love to study how people think, how people come to their thinking. I love to study society, culture, ethnicities, relationships, interactions. I love to study how society breeds us and socializes us, political system, the religious system, philosophical system. And one of the major systems that is influencing our society today is the social system, the internet, social programs like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which has now become this legislative tool for our present government. As you all well know, a lot of policies, a lot of presidential power is being displayed across the Twitter sphere. Side joke, that is. But anyway, so at the present time, I am writing my theses for my master's in psychology degree. I will probably take that course somewhere in September. I am preparing for graduation in 2018. However, my degree will be conferred probably somewhere around January, February, somewhere in there. But anyway, that's just a little bit about me. I came to this program that I want to present out of a lifetime battle, a struggle of trying to find answers. I'm philosophical by nature. That means I ask a lot of weird questions. And in asking those questions, a lot of times they take me on some of the weirdest journeys. Sometimes those journeys can take me into some strange places, psychologically, physically sometimes, mentally sometimes, and most of the time spiritually. At present, I am perusing the conscious community, and I have been a avid searcher or researcher of the conscious community probably for the past 2 years. I have heard, I have read, I have accumulated quite a bit of information on what we call the conscious community. Also, I have perused what we call Black knowledge education, where we are also finding that many of our African American brothers and sisters are now starting to come out of the closet when it comes to the knowledge, the history, the anthropology, the science, the cosmology, and all those fields that you and I know about that have been actually whitewashed. A lot of the information has been hidden from us. A lot of our historical background has been hidden from us. A lot of our historical inheritance has been hidden from us. I could name a couple people that I listen to quite often, but I won't do that because I don't think that's really relevant. I think if you're on a journey, that journey is your journey and it is not someone else's journey. So that means that you can find yourself crossing many people's paths. So you don't want to become lodged in a path or lodged in a certain person's thinking processes. So we look at everything and we keep moving. So I came across a question in my mind, and I was wondering, and I guess this comes from my relationship with the church. I've been in the church all of my life. My parents are members and part of the founders of Church of God in Christ and some of the other churches that are here. My father is a very prominent figure in the church community. So was my mom. My mom was also a very prominent figure in the political arena as far as it comes to beauty management. My mom was also the personal hairdresser of Bush Sr.'s wife. She also was the hairdresser for J.C. Hayward, the news, Channel 9 news anchor. My dad is a brick mason and has his hands, his sweat, his blood and tears on many of the major architectural buildings across the United States. And I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, I came across this question, and the question was, Why is it that we as a people are so divided when it comes to spirituality? It seems like there is such a divide, and no matter how thick, how wide the divide or how deep the divide is, it never seems to bring any resolution to our issues. Being in the church for well over 40 years, I have had a very good understanding of the church. I attended Howard University and took a few courses. I did not graduate from Howard. I took spiritual counseling from Howard University, a couple of their Saturday courses. So I have a little bit experience. I think I can confidently speak on the topic and have some knowledge of what it is that I'm sharing with you. So anyway, one of the questions that I asked myself was, what is the importance of us being housed in a body, having a soul, and having a spirit? What is the entire purpose of this cohesive system that makes you and I who we are, whether that is individually, as a collective, members of humanity? What is it about this system that is so important that we need to understand it? Why is it that our bodies cannot function without a soul or without a spirit? And in asking that question, what is the purpose of having the three? And if we have three, why is it that they have to be divided? In other words, what makes the spirit needing to be reborn, as the church world would see it? What is it about the spirit that makes society have a relationship with it as far as good and evil, a very dualistic mentality about the spirit realm, as well as the conscious, the mental realm? Why is it that we have abnormal mental experiences, and then we have what we call, quote, normal mental experiences? All of these questions, I think, are relevant to the topic that I'm about to discuss, because I think it's necessary to realize that everything in society that talks about the body, soul, and the spirit does it in a way that it divides it. And that's one of the things I think humanity does, is any information we have, in order for us to digest it, we have to break it down. I'm an avid researcher of quantum physics, and I think quantum physics is the new physics. I think quantum physics has a very relevant place in the coming decade, as far as it deals with the small things and the things that are divided. And so I took a quantum physics approach to this question, and I looked at it as to say, why is it that our bodies, our souls, and our spirit have to be looked at from a point of three, a point of separation, and a point of three different aspects of ourselves, as opposed to a cohesive unit? And so I came up with what I believe to be a very important theory on the body system and how it should work, and how we as a people, a human part as members of humanity, I came up with this theory that says that we should not be looking at ourselves from a divisive perspective, but we should be looking at ourselves as a cohesive unit. Everything that we know about spirituality, about life, and about death, about health, about consciousness, unconsciousness, it all falls in the realm of something outside of our bodies. And so when we begin to study these realms that are outside of the physical or the material, we tend to look at them from a perspective of division, of separation from the body. Society has a tendency to break things down into systems. In other words, they have a tendency to make everything systematic, or it has to be broken down into groups or categories. That's how come we have specialists in our society, specialists for different parts of the body. We have specialists for the mind. We have specialists for the spirit. Everything is a specialization as opposed to a holistic understanding of how we are supposed to function as beings on this planet. And because everything is so specialized, you can't even go to the doctor's office and see your doctor for a issue without having to be sent to a specialist. You have to have a referral in most cases. And that referral sends you to a, quote, specialist. I remember the times when we would go to the doctor and the doctor specialized in just about every part of our body. And if you understood the times when that was happening, you would know that we were in better health. We were more healthier when we had general practitioners who were specialists in our entire body. Now we go from one specialist to the next specialist. You get a headache, you see a neurologist. You get chest pains, you have to see a heart doctor. You get problems in your kidneys, you have to see a kidney specialist. There are specialists for everything. Everything is getting broken down to the most microscopic system. Nothing is general anymore. You notice the word general is no longer useful to us. The word holistic, where you can walk into a store even and purchase products without having to go to a aisle and pick up products that are specialized in. So, I mean, you got organic foods, you got health foods, you got dead food, you got live food, you got plant food, you got different types of pharmaceutical products, you have natural medicines, you have pharmaceutical medicines, you have synthetic medicines, you have, we can spend days and hours discussing how society has broken down every part of our experience into some type of category, system, or group. And so I came up with this theory that I'm in the process of trying to research. And the theory says that we should not be separating ourselves into body, soul, and spirit because we are a cohesive system. There are some people who have the ideology that we are part of a very large computer system, that we are parts of a whole, that we are parts of the universe is a body, the universe is a computer, the universe is this, the universe is that, and we are just parts of that. And that makes us expendable. When we look at the spiritual realm, we see a system there where there's a lot of duality. There's a lot of opposites. There's positive, there's negative, there's good, there's evil, there's faith, there's doubt, there's righteousness, there's unrighteousness, there's sin, there is, as well as there is God, there's the devil, there's angels, there's demons. There is, that system in itself is a system that has become so divisive that when we in our material bodies try to, at any point in our lives where we try to tap into that system, we are faced with the questions. And those questions are, what am I tapping into? We also have another dualistic system where we have good thinking and bad thinking, abnormal thinking, normal thinking. We have conscious thinking, unconscious thinking. We have emotions. We have all sorts of thoughts and ideas and thinking. And so that's a whole nother system. And then we have the material, the body. And in the body, the physical body, there is also this conflict within ourselves where we have sickness, we have disease, we have health. We have the brain and the heart, and some say the heart is the brain and some of the body, and some say the brain is the brain of the body, and then some say the stomach is the brain of the body. So we have, even in the body, there's conflict. So when you look at this system, you look at the body system, you have to look at the body, the soul, and the spirit. And when you look at them, each one of those systems has something that is conflicting about it, that when we try to apply it or try to tap into it, I'd use that word because that's a more of a layman's term, where we try to tap into those realms, we tend to find ourselves in a place of confusion. And so I asked myself the question of, why is it that we have to look at ourselves in a state of division as opposed to a cohesive system? So what I've done is I have put together what I call a theory. And it's a small guide. It's a guide to the body systems model. And what this model entails is the three parts of our body system, or the three levels of the body system. And I have so many terms that I can use for each part. But what I've done is I have kind of narrowed it down a little bit. And so I'm not going to give a lot of the details, but I'm just going to give you those three parts. And in our next video, we will try to break down a little bit more. But the first body system that we need to look at is the manifested body system, which is the physical body. This is where everything manifests itself, where everything becomes materialized. How things are materialized and how things are manifested has everything to do with how the body, the physical body system, operates and functions to give us our reality. And because of that, one of the things is that the purpose of existence is for the source to have limitless manifestations and experiences of itself. And the source meaning that which has given all of us life, or that which we call God, or we call the source, or we call the great mind. The body system is the manifested body. This is a way for that limitless for that source to have limitless manifestations and experiences. And those experiences are very diverse, because if you look at it, there's so many of us. At this present time, there's well over 7 billion people on the planet. We can't even begin to fathom how many people have been a part of this planet, how many people have died, how many people have left this planet. And so when we look at it, we know that the source has had many manifestations of itself. And because of that, that there's this experience of itself is through a diversity based on the three systems of the body, mind and spirit. The physical body is the source's vehicle. It's the vehicle by which it manifests what it perceives as thought. The body is the vehicle by which all manifestations are experienced in time through emotion and motions. So when we look at the physical body, we can see that the necessity of the body is for manifestation. It is to bring things out of into the material world. It is for us to experience a reality, a reality of things, matter. Whether that matter we can see, whether that matter we cannot see. In the science community, there is now this uproar about dark matter. It does not matter whether it's dark or light. There is some kind of way where you are able to have a relationship with that matter, and that is because of the physical body. And then the next part of the system is the soul. I call the soul the portal body system because the soul touches touches both realms. It touches the body and it touches the spirit. So the soul to me is the psychological body. It organizes thoughts into models that are digestible by the mind and the body. This organization is based on thoughts as they are perceived within the limits surrounding the thought. The psychological body consists of memory and mental systems by which reality is perceived and manifested to the body so that it can experience what it is manifested. The ability to perceive thoughts is to use the soul as a portal by which thoughts can be filtered and transmitted to the body for the purpose of manifestation. So without your mind, your body cannot manifest anything. Your body has no ability to create, to design, to bring into existence anything without your mental capacity functioning properly. And that's another part we will get into where we look at things that are considered normal and abnormal thinking, proper and improper thinking, normal, and then we have the last part of the body system, which I can call the messenger body system, which is the spirit. And the spirit is the source, the awareness of itself, as the source and origin of all things perceived and manifested through the lesser systems of mental, soul, and physical body. So in other words, the spirit is the higher system, and the mental and the physical are lesser systems in that they are the portal and the process by which the spirit is able to manifest itself and to experience itself outside of itself. And so some people consider the source body to be the spirit, which is breath, wind, or life. Religious systems attribute this body system to God, meaning the highest level of thought man can perceive of the source in relationship to itself. The messenger spirit is the connection to the all and the source of information found in the lower mental, soul, and physical manifested body systems. So whatever we are experiencing in our mind and in our body is a result of what is happening in our spirit. The spirit is not the highest system. And so the church, for some reason, has gotten people so caught up into achieving and allowing spirits to inhabit them that it has become the pinnacle or the glass ceiling for religious adherents, for those people who follow these religious dogmas and ideologies. The spirit is not the highest realm. And so because the spirit is not the highest realm, it is a part of a cohesive system that allows us to touch three realms at once. When you think and you have a spiritual experience, it is not when you are outside of your body. It is happening because you are in your body. Your body allows you to have a vehicle by which you can experience the mental and the spiritual aspects of yourself. And so I'm going to leave that little bit with you just so you can think about that. And we'll come back and we'll go a little deeper and we'll talk about how these systems are cohesive. And the cohesion of these systems, I think, is a very important theory that needs to be further studied. And for any of you who are into peer-reviewed studies, into experiments, into any types of theory, practices, and experimentations and research, things like that, hit me up. I mean, you know, I'm not an island to myself, but I'm putting this theory out because I think it's a theory that needs to be delved into, especially in the academic community, because I think the academic community has attributed a lot of the division that we are experiencing as individual members of humanity, because the knowledge and the way we share knowledge and experience knowledge is in pieces. And I believe there was one of the men of the Bible named Paul who said that we see through a glass darkly, and that we see in part. And because we see in part, we don't, everything that we know is in part. And I think it's time for us to stop seeing things in part and start to see things as a whole. And you have that ability. I have that ability. But if we don't realize that we have that ability, if we keep thinking that we are separate entities, this is another thing that I think is very important and relevant to this topic, is how religious systems have divided what they consider to be God into this triune divisive type of system. And so I think by all of this division, people are getting more and more confused every day about what it is that they're seeking when they're on their spiritual path. Who are they seeking? What are they seeking? And what system of themselves do they need to use to tap into their higher selves? What makes a self higher? Why is there something higher than what you are right now? And if you are always seeking something outside of yourself, then you're never really looking at who you are. And so because you are always looking outside, you are not familiar with who you are. And I think that's one of the things that I'm also obtaining from the conscious community, is that especially when it comes down to ethnicity and the Black race, and how damaged the knowledge base of the Black race has been. And so at this point in time, it's so relevant for us to get a better understanding of ourselves, not just as a particular race, but as a humanity, and to begin to look at ourselves as a cohesive system as opposed to a divided system. This is your research and consultant specialist, Dorothy Parker, sharing her insights and views with you. Just know that any views that I share are my own, regardless to the sources that I use and regardless to the references that I quote. Anything that I share with you in my videos are my views and my views alone. Thank you, and you have a great day.